Okay, so here's the composing of the fence in relation to the building flat that's going to be in behind it. And we're going to put a door in here somewhere, right? But let's not just cut a door in yet until we go and line things up and eyeball them. And I'll show you how. Like, let's go over to the layout so we can make a mark where we want to put the door, okay? Oh, and also let me explain what I did here so you can see this, the fence has been cut, right? So we put those posts there. This is upside down. These are going into the surface of the layout. So I decided I would cut the fence that's up against the cold storage building. I'm making these adjustments on the fly because there's a staircase and then I want a garbage can to fit. Plus there's the telephone pole, right? So that's where we go on to the layout back and forth, right? That's why I wild everything and move stuff out of the way so I can get in there and compose composition like we talked about, right? So what we're going to do is we want to put a door in the building right about here, all right? Not here, and we'll see why. So let's go to the layout. But before I do, just let me show you the hinges here. Just nothing fancy. This is behind. They're just some extra strips of the same material, 10 by 60 thou, which was used for the back rails here as well. Okay, and I just bent the existing ones like this, bent them, and they cracked a bit. So then I just tag on a glue piece there. First here on the main fence, and then when it's glued, then bend it over like this. Use my fat arm there. Let's just do that now. Put a bit there and there. And even if it's glued like that, we'll still be able to bend it, but it won't break, right? See, I didn't even measure these hinges because you won't see them anyway. But if you want to do them the other way, like on the outside, you can. At some point, I'll show you how to do the rivets before we go, okay? Because I keep forgetting that, and I know I promised I'd show you that, and I haven't, okay? So here, I'll do it on a larger piece. So I just take a compass pointer like this, right? Nothing fancy, and then I just press down. Move down 1/8 of an inch or so, or whatever you want, millimeters, 3 millimeters, whatever you want, 1/8 of an inch, half, quarter, I don't care. You know, whatever space you want. And just, I don't even measure, I just eyeball. It's scenic, right? This is like miniature scenic carpentry for film and theater, but just in the diorama, because that's what a diorama is. It's a miniature stage. Okay, so see what I'm doing? Different pressure, you punch all the way through, but that's okay too. See? And there's, here, let me zoom in for you. See, there's rivets. Poor man's rivets, they call it. See? Okay, so here we are with the building flat in place, and the fence, and the trash bin, and the existing building here, and then the utility pole, which I'm going to close with just a comment on that. So this is just a miniature stage. It's a miniature movie set, miniature theater set. They're all just props to me, right? And so by putting things in place like this and having them wild, like this is wild, right? Everything's wild. Everything comes away. We can restage things and move things around and get our hands on it because we're dealing with a very shallow depth here. So we have the gate that's hinged, so we can bend that open a bit. And then what we want to do is, or what I'm going to do is put a door right here. So let's make a mark where the center of the door is going to be. Okay? So when the eye, let me come back a bit here. So when the eye comes along through the layout, generally we look at layouts from left to right because we're trained that way from reading books. So anything that's going against the grain will be noticed, like an open gate facing this way. We're going to stop more, rather if the gate was open facing this way. It makes you flow along quicker. That's the idea behind that. We generally look at a model. First we glance at the overall and then we come to the left and right. We don't even notice that, but if you think about it, you'll see that that's what we do. So, all right then, so then that's where the door is going to go. I'll slip the other flat in there because you're probably wondering where it is, right? And I haven't really done much work on this because I've been focusing on the demo for the purposes of the video. There's not really much there, but we'll get around to that one too, just to see. It's nice to have options, right? I don't know what you think of that one, but anyway, there's not much substance there, is there? Okay. This is how they do it in theater and the movies. They just pop it in, pop it out. Okay, so let's go back to the bench, but just let me show you something here quick. So all the telephone poles are wild too, right? See how heavy it's starting to get here now? So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to move this over to here. This is why we build this way, right? So we can make our adjustments on the fly. I'm going to put this there. I kind of like that, personally. It's not overly busy, right? Okay, let's go back to the bench. Now we know where the door is going to go. Okay, so let's move on to the door cutout then. We've decided where the place it was going to go from the line of sight off the diorama. And as you can see here, so we just drew in with the HO scale ruler here. I just 7 feet, but I left a little bit of a sill right here, about 6 inches HO scale, or give or take, right here. You want to leave a bit of a sill there. It'll help hold the flat together too. Then we'll put a little slab there for a footing. So there's about 7 feet, and then roughly 3 feet. 3 feet wide, right? I start from the 1 markings, or sorry, right here. 1, 2, 3, 3 feet, right? Okay, so then we slice, remember from before, from the corners in. So there's the door. We want to keep that door, actually. We want to keep that for our door. Okay, so then I take a bit of 2x4 for the door trim. Now you can go to your heart's content on a door detail if you want, but we're just doing the basic, the basic primary 101 here on a door, right? You don't have to buy door jambs and stuff, but if you have them around by Ricks and stuff, they're pretty good. I've used those before. So here we take a little bit of scale HO 2x4, which is 8204. HO scale 2x4 we're going to use. We don't have to be exact here because, again, it's a backdrop flat, right? So then what I did was I just eyeball a 45 here. I'm used to doing it, but just try it a few times, right? Like you get used to it. So just cut that like that, and then I'm going to overcut this. Like I'm not concerned about the size, but I want some overrun here, okay? I'll show you why. So, okay, so we take this now. We're just going to put a little dab of glue here. Oops. Now we're just going to run that on the top there, just to this line here, just roughly. I didn't even measure that 45. I just want to get it roughly in place. Within eye shot. If you want to try to put a 45 on there, you can. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, see this line here, is I'm just going to cut that just a little bit proud. Okay. Okay. I'm going to all right. So then what I'll do is I'll just put a little dab at the center frame, both sides, just to sort of lock it in place. Excuse my arm there. Just give that a little tap down because it'll sit loose, eh? But if you give it a little pressure, it'll tack nice. Okay, so we're going to put a little pad here on the bottom, right? So I just took a piece of 30 thou scrap, and I don't know, however large you want the tab, but since there's not a lot of room back there, we're just going to have a suggestion of one. Like that's 2 feet, so that'll work. So just scribe it and snap it. Remember, don't cut through the 30 thou. You'll be there all day. You don't need to. You just scribe and then another little tip that I like to do is you never find stuff when you want to. Anyway, here, I give it a little sand because it really enhances the bond. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to just nibble off the bottom frame, right? We're going to put a beadle on there. And then we're going to slip this in there. Okay, so we got that. Okay. Just eyeball it in. You can always bend this stuff too for quite a while to realign things up. Okay, so we have this little piece here for the door. Right, and then what I'm going to do is use a piece of for the door handle. I'm pretty sure this is scrap, so I'm pulling from this now, right? I want to save those little pieces. So this is a 35 thou rod, and the drill bit to match that would be 0.7 millimeter for the hole. So 0.7 millimeter for the drill and 0.035 thou rod. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drill a hole halfway between the door from the top and bottom. And you don't even need a mandrel for these, right? These, I really like these. I mentioned them before, God hand drill bits. They really take a lot of lateral pressure. They don't snap like some of the other ones. So I'm just going to drill a hole in there. I'm just going to twist my finger, see, a couple twists and we're through. Okay, so then I'm going to take this rod, 35 thou, and I'm just going to chamfer the end, like just file a, like just round it off to get rid of the burr. Right? And then I'm going to slip it through like that. Right? So we need a little door handle on there, right? So I'm going to nibble it off to about 1/8. Nip it off to about 1/8, maybe a little bit longer. I usually like to leave it loose so I can push it all the way out like that, see? See if I'm in all the way here. And then I'll just take a lighter, right? Remember how I showed you that with rivets before, and just touch the end of it. There's your door handle. And then for length, you just, because you're not going to see the other side, you just pull it in a little bit tighter, like that. And then just put a little dab of glue in behind. Okay, so in closing then, I'll just show you just a few pics with the listed scales from some of my past previous work. They're not the best photographs, they're actually digital pics of old SLR photos, and some of them were copyrighted, so they were done with a black background because they're really hard to photograph. But anyway, yeah, so thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. I hope that you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and God bless all of you and your families, okay?